Shalom, shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, pushing this 100% truth of the gospel, waking up and sealing the elect of the nation of Israel through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai. And salutation to your sincere Akimatis are pushing this gospel in all righteousness and sincerity, risking your lives and your freedom to do so. Alright, this is your brother Abawan, and just found something interesting on YouTube, from TikTok. I decided to do a video concerning it. So without further ado, let me just quickly play it.
This is just a reminder for men that scientists have now discovered a way for women to impregnate themselves using their own bone marrow, and the only child that can result from those pregnancies are female. So we no longer have any need for you, genetically or physically. So, tread lightly.
And that's just video right there. Okay, so the first thing I thought when I was watching this video was the fucking nerve, man. The fucking nerve of this queen, okay? Because let me just get a few presets first and foremost. Alright, so I'll start from the book of Ecclesiasticus. Look at Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 25. Ecclesiasticus 26 verse 25, and it reads, "A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear Yahweh." Okay, and how you go talk this kind of thing outside? That was the first thing I thought of when I heard all this thing that she was saying, to speak so wickedly against men. Okay, considering your position as a woman, that you should know your fucking place, man. Alright, you see these women, as I guess I just said this woman in this case, but you have a lot of women that are supporting her, do that, basically share the same sentiment with her, that men are just useless, men are just useless, that men are that the world will be better off without them. All this kind of this is what feminism has done. It has radicalized these women to the extent that they don't even remember their fucking place, man. That's why I read this preset right here. This is that this is pure shamelessness from these women, especially these women that live in these first world countries that are protected by all of Esau's, that are protected by Esau's laws, man. That's why we keep on speaking about all the things that would happen to you women once all these laws get cast away. Once all these laws get cast away, But why don't I quickly show you? You lots, you women, one of the benefits, okay, of men before I go into this lesson. Because the way I was watching that thing, and I was infuriated in my spirits. I have no idea why. But watching that video, watching that clip, just a few minutes of it, it pissed me the hell off. These women, their pride has become. They have this unnecessary pride that comes out of nowhere, right? They have this pride they have no reason to be. These women have no reason to be this proud. Okay, they act as though, right. They act as though they provide anything that they provide any substance above what I forget the movie. I forget on that. I can't remember the reference. Anyway, this is the book of Isaiah 32, and I'll start from verse 1, and it reads, "Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadows of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of them and the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken." So this is speaking about the men of the Lord, that in the days that are coming. Alright, that is also going into the book of Isaiah chapter 4 verse 1. "7 women shall take hold of one man, saying that what? He will provide our own food, and we will provide our own food and our own raiment. But let us only be called by your name." Because the times are coming when, alright, the Most High will put back that importance, okay? I will show you women just exactly why you need a man. I will show you women why, just exactly why the benefits of, just exactly why men are important, so that things like this, okay, and women like this and women like that, okay, women like the women that you just saw in that clip will be destroyed for their stupidity. So I shall turn this thing over. I always get carried away in this thing. But anyway, as I was saying, anyway, continuing on from Isaiah 32 verse 4. The heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammerer shall be ready to speak plainly. And let me jump down to Isaiah 32 verse 9, and it reads, Rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear to my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and get sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fruit fields, and for the fruitful vine. Alright, this is speaking of what? These kind of women, man, that think that everything is going to be okay. I think that Daddy Esau and that the government will be protecting them forever. That that think that they have any power in this world, but don't realize that all the power that was given unto them was given to them by the government. That in all actuality, from all the support that these governments have created for these women, and that's gone to their head, and they've forgotten, right, their place, and basically that they are forgetting their place. Okay, so this disrespect, okay, the disrespect against men, the nerve of these women, no shame anymore from these women, man. Alright, so let me just jump to this. Let's just put that out of the way, because sorry, I did it again. Anyway, but because this way, that woman actually said something that was of relevance to that was relevant. That was the actual main purpose of this video. So if it's a two-part video, that was the first part, and this is the second part of it. Okay, and it reads, babies from bone marrow, and it's another potential use for stem cells procreation. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just get the quick definition of the word stem cell. Okay, I know I've already done a video where I define this, but I just want to get a formal definition. So okay. Anyway, let me get it. Alright, now I'll ask you the Wikipedia definition, and it reads, in multicellular organisms, stem cells are undifferentiated or partially differentiated cells that can differentiate into various types of cells and proliferate indefinitely to produce more of the same stem cell. So basically, there are cells that can multiply into the same form of stem cells, and those same stem cells can be changed into any type of cell that is in the body, including sperm cells. So you see, alright, you see where this is going. Okay, so now to get into the article, it reads, microbiologist Karim Nayernia, and let me just quickly Google this individual, because most likely it is going to be another. Okay, most likely it's going to be a man. Alright, so let me just quickly Google him, because these women, man, I've been watching these big towel videos recently, concerning. I've been watching them a lot recently, and I've been watching them a lot recently, and this is the individual right here, and of course it's a man. But anyway, going back to that article, as I was saying, I've been watching these MGTOW videos recently, man, and the way these women act, especially these women up in Babylon and all these other first world countries, it is deplorable. Okay, now I see what now. Of course, you already knew that it was bad, but you never know how bad it is unless you are actually there to experience it firsthand, right? If you're from the outside looking in, you always think that you know that it is bad, but you never realize just how bad it is. And also don't realize just how worse it keeps on getting, right? So if you just forget about it and you don't mind it for a few months, or for a few months to a year, you don't realize how bad it has gotten between a few months to a year, and you don't realize just how unfair, okay, the whole system is against men. And that will go double or even triple for the Israelites, man. But anyway, let's just go into this article, and it reads, Microbiologist, once starting from the beginning, microbiologist Karim Nayernia of the Northeast England Stem Cell Institute just took a step toward rendering men obsolete. I don't know if you can see my face right now, but upon reading that, I made that Jordan crying meme face. Well, except without that the tears, and the way men are treated. And this is just what I'm looking for. It's just showing you how men are treated or seen in this society, man. I just want something that that been caused to. They're trying to what's that term I'm looking for? They're trying to condition people into believing that men are just that obsolete, that's that useless, that you can just throw them away and nothing will change in society, or rather, if you throw them away, that things will become better or some shit like that. And that's why you don't see any. That's why you don't see the government going crazy about helping men, helping men, especially children, man, especially the male children. Alright, like I heard about this thing about there are very few male homeless centers in Babylon, but there are a lot of these female homeless centers. Alright, so continue. Let me just continue on. By immersing stem cells harvested from men's bone marrow in a cocktail of chemicals that mimic the environment of the testes. In other words, the testicles. You should already know what that is. Anyway, Nairnia, I'm pronouncing that name wrong, but whatever, and his team turned the stem cells into immature sperm. The experiment marks the first time that any non-reproductive human tissue has been transformed into gametes. If the cells can be grown into mature sperm, the technique would allow men without functioning sperm or even testes to father children. Ayenia says the technique could enable women to have a biological child with two mothers and no father. Their offspring would always be daughters, though, because sperm made from a female cell would always carry an X instead of a Y chromosome. Whether still, a woman could conceivably use sperm made from her bone marrow to inseminate her own eggs. Nayania's work has already raised a few ethicists' eyebrows, and some scientists doubt that Nayania's engineered sperm could ever be functional enough to inseminate an egg successfully. Rene Reggio Pera, a biologist at Stanford Institute for Stem Cell Biology and Regenerative Medicine, points out that earlier attempts to create offspring with sperm from embryonic stem cells resulted in short-lived mouse pups that were either giants or midgets. Diana says it is possible that transplanting his immature sperm cells into human testes could make them functional, but he's awaiting permission for that experiment from his institute's ethics board. Alright, so basically what you have is that this, you know, is that these devils have created a new, created some form of sperm cells using stem cells, and of course I've already gone into this, and I've actually gone into this in a previous lesson where stem cells come from the bone marrow. Okay, showing you that that once again is confirming that the precepts, that is Leviticus 17 verse 11, that the blood is truly the life of a living being or an animal or any creature that has blood. You could have a lot of creatures that they have a lot of living, but it is don't have blood. But that's it. So the point we are focusing on right now is that you see is mad science. You see Esau's mad science has gone to another level now. More reason for you to seek the end of this wicked ass kingdom, man. And you haven't even heard the whole story, okay? Because I was trying to find an article that actually went into it. But you see all these articles, they're trying to paint this experiment in a grand light, paint it as something that could actually happen, or something that we could actually develop in a few years with a little more experimentation. But the truth is that is not the case, because these babies, if you can even call them that, okay, I don't know if I can, and I'm probably going to just put a picture of it in a thumbnail. But if you actually see what these sperm cells, these bone marrow babies look like, man, that is the ones that the ones that actually survive up to survive enough to actually be um to actually turn into fetuses. That's the thing. They don't go past the fetus stage. Highest, at the most they would survive 2 weeks. All right, before they actually, before they die. That is the longest they have managed to sustain these babies, which is what would be considered barely a success, because they're barely even alive long enough to actually be considered, living things, if you want to put it that way. So these bone marrow babies have actually not been a success. There hasn't actually been a full term baby. All right, they always get, all right, they are always stopped at the fetus stage. The longest record for survival being 2 weeks. All right, and I don't, and we don't, you don't even know what is, what Esau would consider the survival. You thought that these babies actually even have a heartbeat or anything like that. But he would, but he would just call war something that that using the mad sense to sustain and develop, or putting on life support, call it growth, or and all that. So this little experiment is not even a success. It can't even be sustained. And it was another thing, another thing. That's showing you here, a little bit of biology lesson, in case, for the people that are watching this video that didn't know. Only men can create both male and female children, because only men have the two chromosomes that are required for, to create different genders. If I believe correctly, it's the X and Y chromosome, and if I remember correctly, Sakia, I have to Google that, the male chromosome, because only men have both male and female chromosome. Women do not even have male chromosome. They only have, here it is, Y chromosome. But anyway, so basically what I'm saying is that only men have both male and female chromosome, which is the X and Y chromosome. The Y chromosome being the male chromosome, the X chromosome being the female chromosome. And women only have the X chromosome, which is the female chromosome. So only women have the genetic code to make children from both genders. But in this society, men are considered useless, even though the seed line is actually, derived. Even though the seed line actually comes from the men, and it comes from the sperm, right, from those men, which is why there are little test tube babies that they are making right now. These bone marrow babies, especially the ones that are made from women, are not successful. All right, because you still need a man in order to create a child that can actually be, in order to create a child that can actually have a living soul in it. Okay, so now let's get some precepts. All right, because I'm showing you what the madness that he has. He's trying to, what will I use now? The madness that he's trying to create on this earth. Babies without fathers, which is, and that's just, this is also showing you that that virgin birth would have been impossible. All right, because you still need a man, right, to come with that sperm. Okay, so this is book of Isaiah 24 verse 5, and it reads, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Right, so you see what Esau is doing on the earth. This is why the book of Matthew 24, it tells you that what, except those days be shortened, there shall no flesh be left. But for the elect's sake, those days were actually shortened, because you see what Esau is trying to do, man. He's trying to create a way to replicate his. He's trying to develop a way to replicate his slaves. All right, without the act of sex. He's trying to develop a way to replicate as much slaves as possible without the act of sex. This is all just more of his wickedness, more of this witchcraft of these devils, more of their witchcraft under the guise of science. All right, so let me just jump to the final precept. The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, and I'll start from verse 1, and it reads, Wisdom of Solomon 7 verse 1, I myself also am a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth, and in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh, in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood, of the seed of man, and the pleasures that came with sleep. And when I was born, I drew in the common air, and fell upon the earth, which is like nature, and the first voice which I uttered was crying, as all others do. And this is showing you how humans are actually created, okay? Because what, especially in you probably learned this in biology class, but the sperm goes in, fertilizes the egg, and from there, it develops the fetus, stays in the womb for 9 months, okay? And the child, and when the child is ready to be born, right, it comes out and it comes out as what, a full-term baby. So this is how these things are actually done. I know the funny thing, I forgot to mention this, but while I was looking this whole bone marrow baby thing up, I found that if you use, okay, say you're a woman, okay, and you use the bone, you use the stem cells extracted from your own bone marrow, which of course doing that, extracting stem cells from your bone marrow is going off, okay, because that is Leviticus 19 verse 28, I believe, where it talks about how they should not allow that was, I don't think I think it's Leviticus 19th chapter. I can't remember the exact verse. Right, so let me just quickly look for it. Okay, it's 28. Leviticus 19 verse 28. Where you're basically making cuttings in your flesh, printing marks in your flesh, because you are getting that injection all the way into your bone to extract the stem cells. Okay, if you do that, if you use if you use the bone marrow sperm cells that are created from your own body and use it to fertilize your own eggs, that basically counts as incest, okay? Because all the DNA that is extracted will be from you, so that baby will come out looking deformed and malformed, and these bone marrow babies, they already come out looking, you're looking looking super malformed with all kinds of birth defects. Even more so if all the cells, okay, that are used to create that child are coming from the same individual. Alright, I'm not even going to the fact that a man, alright, a human male is the source of the seed line. Right, you can go to the book of Numbers 1 verse 18. I also believe it's also in the book of Ezra chapter 2, that if you know that right, the man is the source of that the seed comes from the man, that makes the child, any child that is born, automatically the man's child, okay? And the woman is only what, the like the what's what I'm looking for, like the incubator the incubator that houses the child until it is born. So yes, that's basically all I'm going to say concerning this. With that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Rachak Wadash, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom.